Gloria Allred is the attorney for Sharon Bialik. She made the allegations yesterday against Mr. Cain. She's with us now on the telephone. Ms. Allred, first, just flat out, let's just start with Mr. Cain says he can't even remember your client, and when he was watching her yesterday, he said he thought and thought and thought again, and he has no recollection of ever meeting her. What do you make of that?
Well, of course, no recollection is not the same as he didn't meet her. So, I don't recall is not the same as I never met her. Interesting that he didn't say, did he? I never met her. Also, is he suggesting that I'm the Democratic machine or I'm the manipulated by the Democratic machine, if there is one? I'm an attorney, and if he's calling and saying that the Democratic machine had something to do with my representing my client, that is an absolute bald-faced lie, and he needs to retract it. Here's what I think he needs to do. I think it's time for the United States Senate to subpoena both Herman Cain and all of the women who have made allegations of sexual harassment against Herman Cain. Let them come forward. Let everybody come forward. Let's have everybody testify under oath. My client is willing to do so. Is Herman Cain willing to testify under oath? Testify under penalty of perjury? Testify truthfully? That, I think, is the challenge I present to him.
You present the challenge that he should go before the United States Senate. I would say this. I understand you're looking for a public forum where you could have both of them under oath, but what jurisdictions does the United States Senate have? Forgive me, your client's allegations are quite serious. The statute of limitations, if she wanted to file a complaint, have long passed, I assume. But what jurisdiction would the United States Senate have over this?
Well, the same jurisdiction the United States Senate has when they explore whether legislation is needed to improve current legislation, or needed because there is no legislation that exists that, is needed. And perhaps what we need is, maybe we need changes in sexual harassment laws. Maybe we need to extend the statute of limitations of sexual harassment laws, as has been done, by the way, in states, for example, that have extended the statute of limitations on child sexual abuse cases.
Let's bring the conversation back to what Mr. Cain said today, because you raised an important point. You said when he says he doesn't recollect, doesn't mean it didn't happen. He was pressed on that point. He was pressed on, could it possibly be true that you met Sharon Bialik? Let's listen to his answer here.
I'm not an expert on how the brain works, but I do know that I sat there and went over and over and over and over in my mind, do I know this lady? The answer kept coming up, no. I watched her again today when she appeared on Fox News with her attorney doing this interview, sitting there trying to remember, do I know her? I didn't recognize the face, I didn't recognize the name, nor the voice. And so you're right. Is that a possibility? Yes, but I happen to think that's a remote possibility. And here's why. One of the things that people who have worked with me for years will tell you is that I'm pretty good at remembering people.
Ms. Allred, some of this is hard because it's 12, 14 years ago, but I want to ask you a question that I sure wish one of the reporters had asked Mr. Cain at that news conference. Is there anything, any credit card record, any hotel record, any restaurant record, any documentation at all that your client might have or might be able to get access to? Obviously, wouldn't still probably be holding a paper receipt, but could go back to a credit card company that might be able to advance the he said, she said here?
Well, again, what's interesting here, John, is as when you played that excerpt just now, that I was right. It wasn't a flat-out denial. He didn't recall. He's trying to remember. He didn't recall. And yet, it's been reported that someone saw Sharon speaking last month to him at the Tea Party convention or conference. So, and obviously, we have a declaration from her boyfriend who was with her when they were both with Herman Cain some years ago, as she described yesterday at the conference, and that he even met her boyfriend. So, what he wants to say remembers now, that is, to me, really not the issue. The issue is, are the American people going to believe 4 women, 2 of whom have filed sexual harassment complaints against him when they were employed by the National Restaurant Association and received financial settlements, another anonymous woman, my client who's come out, given her name and face, or are they going to believe that Herman Cain, a man who has a motive to deny everything? And so that is a question for the American people. I, by the way, resent the hit pieces. Now, this is what often rich, powerful, famous, politically connected men do. They attack vulnerable women, such as my client. They put out massive hit pieces on her today. And so I guess they're really desperate. They're in major damage control. I understand they're trying to protect their guy, but they're doing it by attacking a single mom, and I think it's really revolting.
Gloria Allred, important insights tonight. We appreciate your quick response to Mr. Cain, and we'll stay in touch as this story develops in the days ahead. And there's another important new development in this drama tonight.